I'm trying to set y'all up so you can see it. So here's my Humira. We've got the 2 caps on it. There we go. I've got a Band-Aid ready to go because sometimes I bleed a little bit after I inject it. All right, got my little alcohol wipe here, and then I inject it in my stomach. It might be a little bit hard to show you, but I grab as much fat as I can, and then I just wipe it with this alcohol wipe, like so, in the area that I'm going to inject it. And yes, it hurts a little bit, and I don't like needles. Sometimes it burns. All right, I will let that dry to minimize any burning, and I keep it pinched because if I move, then I might inject the part that I didn't use the alcohol wipe with. And then I inject this and I count to 15, line up the white part that you can see here straight on the skin as best as I can. Give myself a countdown, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It has officially been over 2 years since I started taking Humira to help with my Crohn's disease symptoms, and it took me about 4.5 years of lots of colonoscopies, the camera pill, endoscopies, and so many other things that we tried to get me diagnosed. And finally, when I moved to Texas, I got diagnosed and my doctor put me on Humira for my Crohn's, and that was in April of 2022. It's May of 2024, so it's been a little over 2 years, and I thought I would talk about my experience of taking Humira for Crohn's disease, as well as some of my general advice for people who have Crohn's or IBS. IBD and IBS are different, as you know, but I have both of them. So I have Crohn's, there's other forms of IBD such as ulcerative colitis, and IBS is not technically like your immune system, but it's people that have a really hard time digesting foods, having sensitive stomach, diarrhea, constipation. There's a whole bunch of different kinds. And I'm hoping that my experience will reach the right people and you can decide if Humira is right for you. Make sure you talk to your doctor, as this is not a substitute for medical advice. So my experience with Humira has actually been a really, really pleasant one. I barely have any side effects from it. I mean, I can't even really notice any of the side effects to tell you. Maybe a little bit of fatigue the next day, but I almost feel like the fatigue is because after I inject every 2 weeks, I tend to have a little bit of a flare up as I get close to that 2-week mark. And my doctor actually gave me prednisone to take on those days leading up to my next Humira injection, but I choose not to take it because I don't want to keep taking prednisone for a variety of reasons, and prednisone can have a lot of side effects too. But with Humira, I'm telling you, I really don't experience any side effects, and of course everyone is different, but it just works so well for me and my body, and I don't think I've built up a tolerance or anything to it. The hardest part I would say about Humira for me is getting it from a specialty pharmacy, because most of the times you need to get it from a specialty pharmacy. It can be states and states away, and they have to ship it to you. And when you live in a hot place, they have to make sure that it stays cool while it's getting to you. And then there's like issues with your insurance and all of that. So that's probably the hardest part of Humira, but actually taking it and not having many side effects, it's been a really, really pleasant experience for me. All right, so here's my general advice for people with IBD, IBS, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, any kind of stomach issues and discomfort. It's so important that you stay hydrated, and I know it's hard to stay hydrated. I know that, but it's so important, and I like to drink those Liquid IV or Element salt packets. They really help getting those electrolytes in your body, especially if you experience a lot of diarrhea. It can help to rehydrate you very quickly. Sometimes water, though, when I'm having a Crohn's flare, I can not even tolerate that, but the one thing I can always tolerate no matter what is bone broth. Bone broth has a lot of essential vitamins, nutrients, protein, collagen in it, and I would recommend bone broth to literally anyone. Get the unsalted one, and then you can add your own pink Himalayan salt or whatever kind of salt you like if you want to. Add a little bit of flavor to it. It's not the best flavor in the world. It's definitely different from like your traditional chicken noodle broth, but for me, it definitely does the trick. A lot of people are deficient in vitamin D. I just get these D3 capsules, but you can also get prescribed the 50,000 IU vitamin D, but you have to make sure you're careful with that because sometimes it's too strong, and some of the side effects include being very tired, and I don't like that feeling considering I deal with fatigue pretty much consistently. I also have low iron, and what I take for that is beef organs. It's disgusting, it smells gross, it tastes gross, but beef organs has a lot of really great nutrients and vitamins in it, including iron, which is really helpful for me as someone that has low iron. And it's important that you get your blood work done to find out any vitamin deficiencies because we have a hard time absorbing certain vitamins and nutrients. That's why I supplement with things that I know I come back deficient in on my blood work. There's also a lot of really great herbal supplements which I talk about on my channel that I like to take to help manage my Crohn's disease, including kratom, chamomile, lavender, holy basil, and I also like to supplement with some kind of greens powder or greens gummies because vegetables are probably the hardest thing it is for me to consume. Dairy is another one that's hard, and red meat, of course, and that's why I say the beef organs works really well. It doesn't cause any stomach upset. It's also important to get on a good probiotic. My doctor recommends the Align probiotic. That's a good one to start with, but there's a whole variety out there for you to experiment with, try, and discover. It's also really important that you get enough sleep every night. I know it's really hard, but you can find different herbs and supplements to help with sleep, and I have ones that on my channel I talk about that are good for anxiety and insomnia, so make sure you check that out. So yeah, that's my experience with Humira as someone with Crohn's disease and some of my basic tips for people that are dealing with IBS or IBD. Thanks for watching this video today. Remember, we are all botanical queens, and I'll see you soon in the next one.